What is up, my friends? Delighted to say that I am joined by, well, my fellow champion, Mr. Joe Wayman from the Just Joe Football Show. Joe, how are we, my fellow champion?
Good, man. Good. The champs are here, aren't they, mate?
We do what we want, Joe. We do what we want.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I did this show a while back, didn't I? And I said the last time you had won the league, we'd done the same, and it's happened again, man. So I think that's like 4 times in a row now. But I'm hoping it's the last, because we'll be in the same division now moving forward. So yeah.
It's stuck with me since you said it to me, Joe. I've been researching it as well, like you said. Yeah, 4 occasions now. Liverpool have won the top tier and Leeds have won the one below. And you know what? Just imagine the fume of United fans at the moment, Joe. You know, you guys coming back up and then us equaling the 20 league titles. I mean, it's been glorious for me, mate. I'm sure it has been for you as well.
Of course, man. Do you know what's funny? I keep getting like Man United fans saying, easy 6 points next year. And I'm like, what? You're in a relegation battle with us. I'd keep your powder dry because you're going to be in a relegation battle against us. So we'll wait and see. It's a lot of fun what's going on there, isn't it, mate? To be honest. So, yeah.
The way Radcliffe's going on, they might have to get public transport. Yeah, they might have a coach right and left, Joe.
Are they having a barbecue? I did hear they're having a barbecue at the training ground if they win the Europa League or something like. It's like Sunday League stuff.
I bet there's a kitty. I bet there's 5 a head or something like that for the kitty.
Yes, yeah. Some go to that special range at Iceland where you get loads of like little sausages and stuff. Man.
Either that or the lads hanging around Tesco at like 5 to 6 just when the reduced stickers are going on.
Yeah, of course.
Doing their elbow and grannies not out of the way to get to the sausages.
Yeah, it's great, mate. Great.
So, talk me through the celebrations in the City of Leeds this time and talk me through, well, what you guys are thinking, because you're probably the best place of the clubs coming up to know exactly what you have to do to stay in the Prem. But talk me through the celebrations.
Yeah, oh man, what a day. Probably outside of my children, mate, best day of my life because, again, like yourselves, we had it taken away from us during COVID. And obviously it had been 15 years since we'd been back in the Premier League. And then when we eventually get back, we can't celebrate it properly because of COVID. So it almost felt like, and it will for Liverpool fans, a double celebration. You know, it was like we got to celebrate it twice over in a way. Some of the players were still there and they had both their championship medals from before, the likes of Bamford, Strauch, Meslier and stuff. So we got to sort of re-celebrate it and to get 100 points doing it, scoring 95 goals, it was pretty immense. But just to, I mean, doing content creation now for as long as I have, I've got loads of new friends in the space as well, like that we all met together and stuff. And obviously, you'll know yourself when you go to the city that you support, you get a lot of people that watch your stuff as well, and then they come over and they chat to you, and you see how much it means to people. So for that side of it, it was amazing as well. It'd have been amazing without all that, but it just adds that extra bit to it. I got to take my daughter. She's nice. Football mad. She plays football now, and she wanted to come along with me. So that was, again, amazing because, you know, the last time we had one was 92. The last time we did a parade was 92 when we won the old First Division as it was then. And I would have been 4, and I'm now 37. So it shows that these parades for us don't come along very often. So for my daughter, that'll be something we'll look back on in, you know, I don't know, 20 years' time. I've got photos, and I'll be like, oh, do you remember this day? So for that side of things, it was amazing. It was such a party atmosphere, carnival atmosphere, if you like. The players got well into it. Ethan Ampadu was drunk as a skunk. He had a cone on his head at one point at the front of the bus. He was
proper order.
Yeah. So it was amazing. Honestly, Craig, it was amazing. And you know, I just said to everybody, really, let's enjoy this because next year is going to be very tough. So you know, goals and wins won't come very often. So we've got to enjoy this moment.
Bit like ourselves, maybe not so with the league title this season, but you don't like doing it the easy way, Joe. I mean, how was the heart at times throughout this season? Because I've been keeping track, and even I'm checking in, I'm like, oh, they've done it again, 96th minute, they've done it again, 94th minute. It must have been an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, well, we actually won the league on with the last kick of the game. In effect, we were losing 1-0 against Plymouth, who were already relegated. We get it back to 1-1, and then the last kick of the game, Solomon finds the back of the net. But like you say, we never do it the easy way. It's just that it's in that DNA, really. Even when we came back from the international break, we drew against Swansea, we drew against Luton, and we're thinking, oh no, it's happening again, same as last season where we fell off. But I think the experience of last season helped this season, if that makes sense, because they were like, right, okay, it's all right. You know, we might have dropped points, but we can still get through this. And it was just sweet to beat Burnley as well with the last kick of the game, because they were winning quite comfortably, thinking they've won the league, and then obviously Solomon finds the back of the net, and it just adds to it, doesn't it? Because you don't want to do a parade for second. It's like Tim Potter. We still would have, right? We still would have, but as a fan, I'm like, it's not the best. At least we got to do one with the actual trophy as well. And look, this year we've seen Newcastle, we've seen Palace. I think we'll see Spurs tomorrow. Liverpool weren't fancied at the start of the season. It's been the year of the underdog, really. So let's have some more of that. And we might have an FA Cup in our future or something. Do you know what I mean? I'll take that, Craig.
You never know what's around the corner with the Red Bull hookup as well, and the way Leeds United are looking to keep going forward. I think of the clubs coming up, and we don't know the Championship playoff just yet as we're recording this anyway. But who do you want to come up? Who do you want to join you? You've got Chris Wilder, Sheffield United, and you've obviously got Sunderland and that whole romantic story there. So who do you think will come up, and who do you think is most suited to come up and maybe stay up?
Well, I don't know if you know, but these two have the worst record in the playoffs. I think they've won 1 in 17. Like these two teams, 1 in 17 or something between them. So they have a terrible record down at Wembley as well. So I think it's going to be 0-0. I think it's going to go all the way, and someone will win it on penalties. I don't think it's going to be a great spectacle, but I think that's how it's going to go. In terms of who I want to come up, I want Sunderland to come up, if I'm honest. I don't mind having Sheffield United either, because it's a Yorkshire derby, but Sunderland, they're a massive, massive club. They're very well supported, and I have friends who are Sunderland fans, and the time we are derby is a great fixture to look forward to as well, you know, between Newcastle and Sunderland. So yeah, I think Sunderland, mate, if I'm honest. Sunderland is probably who I would prefer to come up, but I don't mind either. I don't mind either.
I haven't spoken to anyone who said Sheffield United yet. In all honesty, everybody I think is just swept up in the whole Sunderland stuff. I wanted to talk about your manager for a moment, because at the end of the season, there was this kind of will he or won't he stay moment where people were talking about the fact that he came up before, went straight back down. He's done it a few times. Leeds want somebody who probably a little bit more adept to changing style to dictate what you need in the Premier League, which is a little bit less gung-ho maybe than the way you play in the Championship. But it looks as if Daniel Farke is staying, as we were talking about before. And right decision or wrong decision, Joe?
For me, it's the right decision. Not all the fan base agrees, but I think, look, there has to be context applied to his 2 previous stints at the Premier League, and that context is Norwich, and that context is first season. I think between them 2 seasons, they spent circa 9 million, like in total. You know, the type of signings they bought. I mean, they bought Placheta, he's now at Oxford. They bought Sam Byram, who we've got on a free. You know, the squad wasn't great. They had Timu Puki and Emi Buendia. Outside of that, none of them have really done anything of note. Maybe Max Aarons, who's at Bournemouth, but he can't get a game there, and he's been loaned out. So not many of the players ever made it back to the Premier League. They weren't really set up for it. And I think context has to be applied. With Leeds United, we've already got a decent squad. We've got good balance throughout, and we will spend. They're a lot like FSG in terms of it's a conglomerate of investors all putting into a pot. We saw yesterday on The Athletic that a further 120 million's being put in by shareholders. So they're going to, you know, we're expanding the stadium. It's very similar, actually, to what's happened at Anfield.
To be fair, our whole model is based off of the Red Bull model as well, and we've great relations there. Kloppo's over there, Linders was over there, and of course we're looking to become a multi-club model ourselves. So totally agree with the similarities.
Yeah, well, our owners have just bought into Rangers as well. The 49ers Enterprises have just bought into Rangers, are taking charge there as well. So I do think, like you say, it's that multi-club ownership that it's going down. But yeah, with the capital that's been put in, we probably will see some player sales as well and some rid of some deadwood. I think if we back him, he'll get it right. But a lot of the fan base are not keen, and I just it's beggars belief for me, because at the end of the day, we got 100 points. We scored 95 goals. We broke so many records in the division. I think if we had a better keeper, we'd have probably beat the points record, if I'm honest. But Melier was, he had a stinker. So many errors throughout the season. He'll go, so we need a new keeper, which is, Kelleher, hopefully. We need a left back, which could be Costas. We also need a 10, and I've seen Harvey Elliott might be available, so I'll take him as well. I do like Harvey Elliott, to be fair. So
the thing about Elliott is, even us Liverpool fans are a little bit shocked at the valuation. 50 million quid is apparently the number. Ooh. Yeah, Newcastle, Wolves, and a few others interested. Now, look, whether we get 50 million quid or not, I have to say, he'll leave Liverpool, and for me, I'll say with a heavy heart, because I love him. Yeah. And most Liverpool fans do, because he's a Liverpool fan through and through. Always great around the club, always been really good interacting with the fan base and stuff as well. And wherever he does go, I think Liverpool fans will just wish him the very best. But if I can bring you back to Kelleher for a minute.
Yes.
As an Irishman, you know that there was a great connection with Leeds United in Ireland as well, particularly going back to the Johnny Giles days. Mm-hmm. And it would be very well received over here if Kelleher was to leave Liverpool and go to Leeds United. I'd seen, I can't remember which Leeds fan channel it was, posted something on X to say, talk of a potential 40 million double deal for Kelleher and Costas. Yeah. What would you make of that?
I thought it was just 40 for... Is it? I'm going to try here. You can tell me as an Irishman. I believe it's Kevin Kelleher.
It's Queeveen. It's if you want to really simplify it, it's the Irish word
Kevin, right? Is it the Irish
Kevin? One. Yeah. Kevin Kelleher. Queeve is what everyone just calls him. But yeah, Queeveen is the Irish for Kevin Kelleher. And I tell you what, hand on heart, I think he is good enough to go into any first team outside maybe the top 4 in the Prem and go in and be number 1.
That's why I think we won't get him, because I think he'll have a lot of suitors, maybe even from clubs in Europe. I did see a report the other week that Verbruggen might be leaving Brighton to go be back up to Courtois at Madrid, which means Brighton might want... But you know what it's like at this stage of the season. You see all sorts of rumours.
Villa have even been mentioned as Emi Martinez may move.
Right, yeah, there is that as well. So they could look at Kelleher as well. So I just think, unfortunately, we won't get him. I would love him though, mate. I would love him, but I think he's done enough to probably go higher up the table.
And Costas, I could honestly see Costas working well. Yeah. I think you would enjoy Costas. He has moments where his head goes a bit, but he is a bundle of energy down the left side.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that we could get that done, hopefully. I don't know what... He's still under contract, right? So it'll be a transfer fee, I'd imagine.
I would think we're guesstimating as fans 15 to 20, maybe. Yeah. I don't think his value's gone up too much. We bought him for about 12, if my memory's right.
Right. Well, I don't think that's a bad price for him at all. And like you say, if he finds somewhere where he can be number 1 and play week in, week out as the mainstay, he'll probably only improve, right?
He's one of those lads as well, Joe, that a manager would love around the training ground. He's just a top fella, always upbeat, always positive, great interacting with fans. Wouldn't have a bad word to say about him, apart from the fact that we do need to upgrade on that side.
Yeah. No, and look, you're getting Kirkes and Frimpong by looks of it, mate. So it's all it's looking good for you folks. But yeah, I think Costas would be great. And like I say, I'd love Harvey Elliott, but we won't pay nowhere near 50, so that's pie in the sky for me. But yeah, that both them, I mean, Kelleher and Costas would be mint, but I think we've probably got more chance of getting Costas than we have Kelleher, to be honest, because he's a good goalkeeper. Still very young as well, right? So he's still got his prime way ahead of him, right? So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that, mate.
Any other deals that you see floating around for Leeds, or what departments do you think you really need to look for to consolidate in the Premier League?
We need a goalkeeper. We definitely need a goalkeeper. We've got Melier and Darlow at the moment, and he just needs to go find a new club now. I do believe he'll go on to be a good goalkeeper. It's just, it's gone wrong at Leeds. Darlow's not Premier League goalkeeper. We need a left back because I think Firpo's probably going to go back to Real Betis. I believe we've offered him a deal because he's had a great couple of seasons in the Championship, but I think he's probably looking for a longer contract that we can offer him because, it's his last contract. He's getting on now. I think we need a left-sided centre-back because Pascal Strout keeps getting injured. So we probably need a long-term replacement there. Definitely a number 9 because
Want Darwin?
What's that, sorry?
Want Darwin?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I'd take Darwin, though. I'd take him for Leeds, obviously, but he's way out of our bloody price range. So I would have loved someone like Delap, but it looks like he's going, to the top 6. So Callum Wilson's been mentioned on a free, which I don't mind as a backup. Don't want him as the main guy because he gets injured a lot. But he scores goals in the Prem, doesn't he? But we've still got...
He's a solid pro. He puts himself, when he's fit, he puts himself about and he always makes 100%. Defences work hard.
100%. But we've still got Bamford on the books. He's still got a year left on his deal, Craig. This is his last year. And so, there's a lot of work needs doing for us to compete, if I'm honest. But what I will say for the ownership group, the last 2 seasons in the champ, the recruitment's been mint. The only one really that went wrong was Jed Spence, but that was more of an attitude thing and we sent him back. And we saw how well Jed Spence has done this season for Spurs, so it wasn't about him being a bad player, it was just his attitude wasn't great at Leeds. So I think I back them to do well. I back them to bring in the right players. What we won't do is what we did last time and go for daft glamour signings like your Diego Llorente, Rodrigo was Spain's number 9 at the time and all that. It needs to be, for me, a bit more measured and bringing in some experience, Premier League, international pros that may be at the back end of their career, but that are going to help us consolidate. And then we try and build, like your Villas did, like Forest have done. What we don't want to do is, go for them glamour signings and end up, I don't know, like Leicester, for example. They're really in the shit, aren't they, now with this deduction that might be en route as well. So, you'll know yourself, man, when it's poor mismanagement behind the scenes, it's a nightmare as a football fan.
I have to say, though, I'm delighted to see Leeds back up. It's, I always have this memory of going to a Josh Warrington fight. I've said this to you a few times, at Headingley, and all of us just singing up saying, stand up if you hate Man U. I just felt so at home. It was just, never have that real connection with other clubs' fans, but we all hate Manchester United, and that was very welcome. I have to say, look, as I mentioned, there's a good Leeds following over here in Ireland. I always do keep an eye out. I have a couple of uncles who are Leeds fans, and I'm delighted to see them coming back up to the frame. My wife's uncle's also a Leeds fan, so I think you're going to stay up, Joe. We've had 2 seasons now where the 3 that go up went straight back down. Honestly, think you guys have what it takes to stay up.
Do you know what I think's actually going to work in our favour as well, Craig? Which might be copium, it might be wishful thinking, but half of the bloody Premier League's in Europe next year. So Crystal Palace are going to have to compete with playing 2 games a week. Forest are going to have to compete with playing 2 games. We saw what happened with Newcastle when they got the Champions League. They dropped like a stone because they didn't have the depth. Obviously, they don't have Europe this year. They're probably going to get Champions League again. So it just shows you there's only clubs like yourselves, Cities, the Arsenals, that can compete because of the squad and the quality of players. You can't tell me Palace are going to be able to just go and then buy enough to then be able to run both at a decent level because, I don't know, the data shows us, right? If you're fighting in Europe and in the league for the first couple of times, it's very hard to do. So if you've got Forest doing it, maybe Brighton, Palace, they might, it might be better for us, because of that, but I'm clinging on to anything, mate, to be honest. I'm clinging on to anything.
You know what, though? Like, as you mentioned, we're a club that are used to 2 games a week. And we even have our own owners and management talking about finally putting a squad together to be able to cope and challenge with all 4 competitions because it feels like every season we'd have to sacrifice 1 cup competition to save legs. I'm interested to see this Club World Cup scenario as well.
Yeah.
We've got obviously City and Chelsea over there. No break really for their players. Shorter pre-season and then straight back into it. So I think it is going to be a very interesting season next season, Joe. And if you were to give me what would be an acceptable season for you, first up in the Prem, would you take, let's say,
17th, mate.
Take 17th,
Yeah.
would you?
Do you know the thing is, Craig, before when I came up with Bielsa, it was all like Bielsa was such a great man and the football was amazing. And I was just so glad to be back. And I was like, we're going to smash it. You know, we're going to go for it. And we did, right? And we finished 9th. Now, we don't have Bielsa. It's more, you know, I guess I took the Premier League for granted in terms of like not really realising how tough it is. And I laughed at some signings clubs were making. I remember Brentford signing Ben Mee and I was going, what's that? He ended up playing 4 seasons for him and we got relegated. And I just look at that now and I go, do you know what? I have a different mindset going in. Buy the right players needed to stay up. If the football's turgid at time, I don't care. Just stay in the division. So 17th, mate. Give me 17th and I'll be fine. And then we'll build from there, man. Build from there. And you never know. Look, Villa, Forest, mental Champions League. You know, why not? If they can do it, though, Craig, why not? Do you know what I mean? So you never know.
Joe, it's always a pleasure when we catch up for a chat. And no doubt we will chat before we play each other coming up twice next season. Do make sure you go across and check out the Just Joe Football Show. The link will, of course, be in the description. And Mr. Joe Wayman, always an absolute pleasure, sir. Your favourite Leeds United fan on the planet. It's always great to welcome you on.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having me. And please do go over and subscribe, folks. It massively helps. Please do that.
Joe, we will catch up soon, my man. And as always, thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you, mate.